Like, I introduce myself, do you introduce yourself, or how you want to do that?
Exact. However the programs, whatever it calls for, yes, I will.
Okay.
Let's.
Boy,
I'm grateful.
that was dope though. I'm feeling it. I needed that too. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
We should really start by just talking about what just happened.
Are we on?
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody
And
wants
then
to
get, yeah, what it talks about is the introduction, check-in, community highlight, discussion portion, song from Izzy and Mariah, and end with an action item.
Okay. I think we're live.
That's
Are we live?
good. That's solid.
We live, Mama D.
We live.
Bless the love, everybody.
That's what I'm talking about.
Coming in from the heart. You know, we apologize for the delay. Welcome to our Shared Future podcast. We was trying to knife it up with something new and original. You know what I mean? We holding this vibe. You know what I mean? We were trying to go live with some music. You know, we may still try to flow with something. You know what I mean? But you know, we still working out. We're young in this thing, you know what I mean? So yes, welcome to our shared future. You know, we're seeking to learn how to embody solidarity, how to build this shared future together. You know, like we understand that we are rooted in love, and we're trying to work to like build a society that like acknowledges what already is, which is that rooted in love. You know, and so. We have some great guests today, so I guess we can start off. My name is Amaha, with Co-op Dayton, one of the co-EDs for Co-op Dayton, and excited to be here. We have a special guest host, Mama Daria. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I do. And my name is Mama Daria, as most of you call me Mama D, but my name is Minister Daria Dillard-Stone, the servant. I am the founding CEO of Sharing Ministries and also the curriculum developer for the STAR program. STAR stands for Smart, Talented, Awesome, Respected, teaching young people 13 to baby boomers how to value themselves and define their success by their guidelines and not the world's. I'm glad to be here. I'm also the parent engagement liaison for Dayton Metro Library, a wonderful place to work and to grow. So I was excited for thanking you for letting the old lady come in, because I always want to know what my babies are doing so I can cover you. So I'm here to add to the whatever the situation is. And Tasia is one of my spiritual daughters. So when she's doing something, everything she does pops up. I'm like, what is that? Oh, I should be there. They need covering. They can't do that by themselves. They need blessings. I'm here to encourage you and push you.
Good thanks. You know, like that's what we need. You know, so we appreciate that. You know, and before I introduce again, I want to special shout out to Kiki. She was unable to make it tonight, but she sends her love to everybody. And as a matter of fact, she has she added a little spice to the mix that we'll throw in her quote a little bit later.
Ooh.
But now I wanted to introduce. I guess we'll start with Mariah, your Renaissance. You know, and so you want to introduce yourselves and then go from there.
What's up, y'all? I'm Renaissance. Yeah, born and raised Dayton, Ohio, singer, songwriter. I'm also the cultural programming manager for the Dayton Metro Library, and I'm an artist disruptor.
That's
Right.
I know that's right. Blessed family, tribe. I know we in the house. I feel the energy. I'm your friend, Ra.Feke. Ra.Feke means friend in Swahili. I'm not Kenyan, but I just love the word. My last name is Olaore, which is Yoruba, which means the wealth of friendship. So I embody that through Ra.Feke because my art form is friendship and the expressions of thereof. I would say I'm a creative curator in the community right now, and it's a blessing. I'm a student of the soil. You can call me Mr. Good Soil, self named that, and I'm gonna live up to it for sure because everything my compass. I say that the soil is my religion because religion is what you do religiously, what you do repeatedly, and I'm always trying to learn from the soil. So I'm excited about our conversation today. Because this is going to be a chance to share a lot of the research that I've been doing and the work that we've been doing to actualize the principles of the soil in our community. So blessings. I'm so glad to be here.
And for those that don't know, right, they're getting ready to launch their amazing song "Grow," and they have a whole understanding and the science behind it, right? And so when we were talking a couple of months ago, and they were letting me know what's happening, like, oh, I'd be honored, you know what I mean, if
Yes,
y'all could
sir.
come on the show, you know what I mean, before it drops, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
give a little teaser to everybody,
Yes.
you know what I mean, as the thing goes on, right? And so that's how we end up here today, you know. So maybe I'll start with a question of like, what does solidarity mean to you?
That's a good question.
Mhm.
How you feeling?
I think it's a reflection of what is it? Ubuntu? I am because you are.
Yeah.
So knowing that, if you're not well, then I'm not all the way well. Like I don't know if it's that interdependence, and just knowing that we have to, rely on each other and depend on each other. So that's solidarity
That's
for
it.
me. That's what it has been lately, right? This getting a deeper understanding of it, right?
Yeah.
In practice,
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
right? Logically, I get it, but like actually, what does it look like acting it out? Yeah, that is solidarity for me right now.
Yeah, that's deep, right? Because I appreciate that you name the distinction. You know what I mean? Like the first step I think is like having an understanding of like the mental model that like, actually our world is Ubuntu, our world is interdependent. But then the next thing is like, how do we embody it when we have like 400 plus years of being taught that we live in a world that's independent, right? So we're kind of like in this unnatural state right now, like thinking that we're like these individual beings, you know what I mean? Instead of understanding like this interconnection, right? Which to me like even leads to the soil, right? And like how like what is that thing that like binds us all together? You know what I mean? And so yeah, so interesting. So let me pop it over to you. Like what yeah.
That's a good question. I appreciate you asking. I think about it first from the sound of the word. So recently I realized that there's a group of people who I guess they're called woke, or too woke when they start saying things like instead of saying good morning, because good morning is like, why are we talking about morning?
Mm-hmm.
And so they say grand rising. I love it. But apparently sometimes it's like, it's like, why are you why are you overthinking it? You see what I'm saying? It's not that deep. If you saw the One Love, right? One Love, the Bob Marley movie, there's a part where they're talking about like where Bob Marley is, the love of his life, is teaching him about, Ra.Feke and the idea of like, I, they don't say you. And so they're like, is unity? And she said, identity. And it was like, okay, we see how that, so the sound of the word makes it it sounds like solidarity, right? And like solid, like if we didn't worry about grammar and we could make our own rules, we could say like something is solid and then it could be solider, right? It's like more solid. So solidarity would be a key performance indicator of, what is its rate of solidness, right? Its growth rate. How much firmer is it getting over time? And looking at it like that as a metric, like, okay, solidarity, like it's something that can always be, assessed, measured, increased, optimized, it's a variable in my opinion. And when it is assessed, the action items that come out of it, which means how do we increase solidarity? Now we have those tactics like the ones that you have mentioned, the different things, whether it be, I would say one of the things for solidarity is understanding, which leads to empathy, right? Which allows you to actually now be in a position to stand in solidarity. People be trying to stand in solidarity, they don't even know what they stand in solidarity of, because they haven't taken the time to learn it for themselves and experience it. They just see it from afar and they're like, oh, I want to support that. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that, the level at which you deepen yourself in the understanding of the thing that you are standing for in solidarity of is almost like that metric, the solidarity,
Yeah, that's big. I never heard that before, and it's got me thinking right now, just like how, like solidarity is a process, right? Like, in sociology, we say that it's a shared identity. You know what I mean? So like how are we growing in this shared identity, or like how are we going solider, you know what I mean? Amongst each other, you know what I mean? And when you mentioned I and I, it's an interesting thing, right? Because like, I and I is a reference of how like everything is all interconnected, you know what I mean? So there's like there's I, and then there's like I meaning the highest, and how everything is all connected as one, And so I think part of solidarity, which we have to like give ourselves permission to, is that like how do we develop the language that holds the culture that enables us to grow in our grow in our solidarity. You know what I mean? That like we don't have to like use a framework that doesn't work for us. Correct. You know what I mean? That like we can use our language to build a culture and a container, you know what I mean, that enables greater connectivity amongst ourselves, you know what I mean? And create our own meaning. You know what I mean? Like we're not limited to, using a certain framework to build something. Like we can build our own framework, right? So like
and rebuild it.
Yeah, 100%. Mama D.
Mama D.
I'm like the little kid. My turn yet? My turn yet? First of all, for our viewers who may not know the meaning as it relates to the dictionary, so we'll be on the same page. Everything you guys have said, it's part of being solidarity. But Webster defines solidarity as an awareness of shared interests, objectives, standards, creating a sense of unity with groups or classes of groups, or meshing something together to make it whole. So that can go a lot of places, but just for our viewing audiences, I wanted them to know the definition as it is when they see it, but also if they wanted to ask questions, they would know where we're at in that conversation. So just wanted to make sure we knew what solidarity means by the dictionary.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So Mama D, like how would you translate that definition? Like what did that definition like mean to you, or how did that resonate with you?
The fact that I am seeing in the last 5 years, especially, the solidarity that the younger entrepreneurs who are learning desire to learn from older entrepreneurs or seasoned, and the competition, or you better than me, or I'm on this level, I can't come down to your level. People are like squashing all that. Everybody is working together. We in this together. Instead of just giving a lot of lip service, there are little pockets of efforts around Dayton, around the community, among us, that we're making a transition. We're being transformed. They ain't seen all of us yet, but it is all of us. It's Black, it's white, it's rich, it's poor. We're not going to listen to what was told to us about why there's not solidarity. We can't do nothing about that, but we got to do something about today.
I so appreciate that, right? Because to me that's not waiting for permission, like part of solidarity is knowing that we have a shared future, right? Hence the name of the podcast, you know what I mean? And so then how do we build our shared future together, you know what I mean? And so
that's right.
Like there's been these definitions that divide us by race and by gender and by sexual orientation, or however this thing flows, right? But underneath, we're all human beings, you know what I mean? And so like, how do we get to the root, you know what I mean? That we can like establish and build something new. And we don't have to wait, you know what I mean? And there's so many right now that are like, they're leaning. And so it's like, how do we, like, I've been calling it like, how do we get more of the boats into the river or to the ocean, you know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, something's moving and something's happening, you know what I mean? And so it's like, how do we get more out into this river, you know what I mean, that we can go down this stream together, you know what I mean? And so, I so appreciate what we just said, you know what I mean? Because we truly are the ones we've been waiting for. And we have so many gifts and talents in this community to help us like emerge a different reality, you know what I mean? And so like, how do we build that level of connectivity, right? Like how we build that trust, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that actually is a good segue to grow, right? Because it's like the thing that like connects me to this notion of grow And this notion of soil is like, what is the space that we are cultivating that can enable that sense of belonging, that can enable these gifts to flow, right? Maintain the roots and hope.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know.
You nailed it on the head, though. Let me say, you nailed it on the head when you said we're human beings. When we can start just looking at each other as human beings, that's when the sauce will get poured on all of it. Anything we do, we've got to look. You human, boo. You're human like me. And all the titles, the positions, the cash, the condos, the cars, it's fine. But at the end of the day, you still human. If you cut, you're gonna bleed the same red blood I'm gonna bleed. How come we can't fix what's wrong?
Right.
And we can't do it all at once. But what I see growth. It's baby steps, boo. You taking baby steps, and that's what it takes. I want to be there, because this kind of even conversation to be held to talk about it. Yeah, we would love to have 300 people in the audience, but that might not be today. But it don't mean it's not coming.
Come on.
Right.
You got to believe. Why do something if you don't believe it's gonna grow? Right. Solidarity is me, you, Tasia, all of us believe the same thing. We are the answer to our problems.
Yeah.
We are the change agents. Now, all I want you to do is assign me where you need me.
I say, you just made me think of Sister Onyx, you know what I mean, with maybe flowing through here in a second. She's in another room right now. She said, we can choose the world we want to live in. You know what I mean? And I think like that's really knowing our power, right? Power, like meaning like our ability to transform our lived environment, right? And so the more that we understand the power we have to shift the patterns in our community, then the more hopeful we become. Yep. And the more hopeful we become, the more we're willing to put our gifts to the center of the circle to make it happen, right? So all of that, I think, flows to this notion of like cultivating the soil, right? And this notion of like grow, you know what I mean? So I wonder if y'all can help us understand this framework that is emerging, that we can all kind of like move into, right? As we're like reimagining, you know, what this shared future can be, right? Because like ultimately it's a battle of imagination. There's an imagination that keeps this current status quo in existence, right? And we are coming with a counter imagination, right? That acknowledges human dignity, human worth, you know? But I don't know who wants to start? Right.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, we can go into just like describing the very simple lyrics of the song.
That's what I was thinking. That's what
and like even to what you're saying about, you know, us cultivating the soil, it's like, well, first we need to know what it is that we need, right? And so the song that we're gonna release asks those 4 simple questions of like, what do you need? Do you want to grow, right? Like we first gotta know if you want to.
Come on, that's the question, right?
That's the question. Do you even want this?
The formula's outlined, but the question is if you want to
grow, right? Like if again going into that choice, like you have the choice.
It's the choice is yours.
You have the power. So what do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? And what do you require? Right?
So that's the challenge.
If you want to grow.
Yeah, we can stop right there in terms of asking, you know, those questions, because I want to just make sure anyone that's watching that you challenge yourself, write those questions down and ask yourself, our community right now is answering those questions. Remember, Amaha at the Ra.Feke and Friends, we've started, you know, teaching them this concept, and we're asking these questions, and everyone's answering it for themselves. What do I need? What do I want? What do I desire? What do I require? Now, what is the answer to that?
Going into nature, right? Exactly. So you need the seed, you need the soil, you need the sunlight, and you need the water. You need these elements. You need the elements of nature. So I think it's also just giving reverence to just like the power of these, you know, seemingly simple ingredients, but like they're so powerful.
No, they're absolutely powerful.
Yeah, and very symbolic. So it's like,
you know, even more. I was gonna say even more so. Like for example, the reason why those 4 elements are so powerful is because they really encapsulate the 4 main things that you need for growth. Your seed, you need the soil, you need the sunlight, and you need the water. It's really simple, right? And when we're able to empower our community with these tools and this framework for them to start assessing the things for themselves, it's the application is where the power lies. It's when we embed it into our lifestyles and take it out of the actual gardens that it impacts us as if we were plants. For example, this song called Grow is a seed song, right? This is a song that we really believe in. We've invested 2 years of efforts into, and it's the most simple song you've ever heard. You're gonna be shocked that it took us 2 years, but it's because sometimes the most simple things takes time.
Come on.
And so we are looking at the fact that that is the seed, right? Now, what is the soil? The soil is our community, right? The soil is going to be the listening ears that this song is going to be planted into or onto. That's hopefully going to germinate in their minds and grow into, a concept of empowerment as they live out the concept. The sunlight, that's that awareness, right? That's the visibility. That's that positive vitamin D exposure, the good, healthy exposure that this song needs to be able to grow. And it takes positioning, right? The plant needs to be in the right place on the ground to make sure it gets the full, scope of the sun, and so we think about that way, and we make sure there's awareness. We were with the International Peace Museum for their season of nonviolence, and we did a Ra.Feke and Friends there where we did this song, and the theme of that day was the sunlight. Because we know that the causes like those of nonviolence need more awareness, and that's what sunlight can do. It's that warmth that we bring to something. And the last one is the water. The water is the fuel. It's the thing that transports the minerals, and it transports, it allows for, the different, things that are alive and interacting in the soil to, have a medium. It's a medium, right? And, that's the fuel as well. So for us, the water is those funds. You see what I'm saying? It's the investment, it's our time, it's our effort, that we're investing into this. We're watering this seed because we believe in it. Right. And that's why we want to see it grow. Right. So I wanted to just kind of break that.
Yeah. And I appreciate it. So now y'all can see what I'm saying, right? That is like, it's something simple, but it's also complex, right? As far as like, it's also something, on some levels, right? I think, like, it's indigenous, you know what I mean? Like it's returning back to like how things actually happen, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, to the soil, you know what I mean? So I was wondering maybe we can break it down a little bit deeper into the segments and how it translates, right? Because like the first part seems like, a question, you know what I mean? But the first one is like, do you really want to grow? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, they talk about they want to grow, but then it's like, do you really want to grow? You know what I mean?
I want to do gardening.
Are you invested?
Ready to go to the garden and put your hands
in the dirt?
Right.
In the hot sun. Like, you ready to do that?
Right. Are you willing to heal? Are you willing to do the work to grow? You know what I mean?
There you go. There you go. That's where we fall short. It's time to work, y'all. Everybody's at the meetings.
Said it's time to work.
Everybody's at the proposal. They writing. Now it's time to implement action. Or what happened to the workers? What?
Exactly.
Well, something comes up. No, okay, so we still go on.
Right.
God has always worked a lot with a little.
Yes.
Come on.
So you got to know that if you don't, if all of them don't come to the table, baby, that's all right. Maybe we don't need them right now, but we're going to still sit at the table and prepare it. We're not going to just sit there. We're going to prepare a table.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, because really, I think it's about building a whole new, like when you say preparing a table, to me, it's like how are we building a different epicenter? You know what I mean? And like a different space where we can gather, solidarity table or whatever. And, and we have the ability to do that. And, hearing you talk right now, Mama D, made me think about Gideon, right? So like, it's a story in the Bible where they had a multitude of people, but then it was like, like they separated out by like those that like went to the water and lapped like a dog. You know what I mean? It was like who was like really about it. You know what I mean? And it's a small number, like Margaret Mead says. You know what I mean? It's a small number that can bring change. You know what I mean? Yeah, 300. And so it's like not waiting for multitudes, right? Or like Adrienne Marie Brown will talk about, critical connections over critical mass. You know what I mean? Like how are we building these deep relationships, right? That enable us to move forward. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So then, like for those that are making the choice, they're like, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to transform. You know what I mean? Like, it goes with what environment the seed get planted in, right? Like if I'm a mango tree, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna plant in Ohio because it's like, it's not conducive for who I am. You know what I mean?
It's a
And so
different
it's like,
soil profile.
yeah, different soil profile. You know what I mean? And so like, I want to see if we can break through, like, what are the conditions, right? You mentioned the four, I think, you know what I mean? So like, what are the conditions for those of us that want to move forward and grow individually and collectively, simultaneously, right? Like how can you break down those elements? You know what I mean? With the soil and the water, right? You know what I mean? Because like for me, the water is not only the nourisher. I would argue that our communities right now are dehydrated.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning that like this disconnection because the living water is not flowing through. You know what I mean? So how do we emerge more love? You know what I mean? That like that water starts to flow and the body starts to really move and flow and function. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. Can I answer that?
Heck yeah.
I have like a bunch of notes on this. Like,
Okay.
I did a whole workshop on this.
Do your
Shout out
thing.
to Vibes, because we did a workshop here at the Heart called Soil Food, and we answered that question of how do we apply this right to ourselves now, or how do we step into that once we have that willingness. So one of the things we want to lead is with context of application can be very overwhelming, right? Trying to do things new in a different way. If you've ever tried to have like a New Year's resolution, you know that it's going to be faced with opposition and challenges, even just human fatigue and the like. So to empower us with the way that we're going to approach this, we started with, or we ended with, or we can also start with the concept of you are all and you are one, right? And that's balance, because there's four principles that we could talk. I mean, there's four elements, which is the seed, soil, sunlight, and water. That's really easy, right? That's easy peasy. You already did it for yourself. All the secret is apply it to yourself, to your most valuable part of you, and it will grow, right? So what is my seed? What is my soil? What is my water? Just think about it. Just look at water. What is that? And you just apply it. We did the simple application for the song.
Yeah.
I do it for myself, in different capacities. So that's that. But when we're not talking about how to grow, you hit the nail on the head. And I know we're kind of like, looking at, rap time, but like the idea of the soil. No, but I'm just thinking, so we're bringing it back to the soil. You hit it on the head. So what I wanted to quickly explain was the 6 soil principles in Spitfire fashion, because again, they're so easily applicable, but these are the actual things that I apply on a daily basis to every aspect of my life, whether it's my consulting work, whether it's my creative work, whether it's the community work, whether it's my everything. It's this 6. And it's really, it's examples like this. One is introducing organic matter into your soil, because what we're trying to do is make sure we cultivate good soil, because once you're in good soil, we will be able to grow. I think I will just use, one example so I don't have to name all of them, because it hits closer to home. My beautiful wife, if y'all know me, you know that I'm married, and it's a blessing, Jasmine, Daddy Sola, the one and only, don't play with it. And so I had to bring back to my frame of thought. There was a point in our relationship, we were still dating at that time, and we hit an all-time low. Not a low, right? An all-time low. Meaning we just couldn't figure out what to get out of this rut. We just felt like, we ain't even married yet, and we bored at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just like, what is it about? Like, we just don't like each other right now. Like, you feel me? And I've been there before, and I made the wrong decision. So this time I didn't want to. And so I said, let me go to the internet and do research. And really, nothing was hitting, like how to be a better boyfriend and, what to do to make your girlfriend love you more. Like, none of those things were working. I was doing all those things, almost like, you talk about the Bible when it's like the person comes and says, what must I do to, get to the kingdom? It's like, do this, do that. Like, I've done all those things. Like, all right, we'll sell everything then. You see what I'm saying? For the culture. So mine was, okay, let me look at the soil, because this soil, like plants and seeds, if they're in the right place, they grow themselves pretty much, because the rainfall, the sunshine, and they just grow. And so I was like, how can I apply that? So I offered that to my wife. I said, hey, we went on a hike over at, you talked about, the park of Eastwood Park.
Oh,
He was featured in the Metro Parks. Right? So you mentioned Eastwood. We were at Eastwood on a hammock, and we opened up my journal. I said, hey, babe, I've looked at this in the soil. I think there's something to this. Can we apply this to our relationship and see if it can help us grow? She is the ultimate creative. She loves games, puzzles, everything. So I just sent her on a wild goose chase, and we were able to apply things like, okay, what does it mean to avoid avoid soil compaction? Because that soil compaction is one of the most irreversible things that can happen to soil. And to avoid soil compaction, you have to just make sure you let the soil breathe, keep it aerated so that the roots can move properly. And that means to us that we have to give ourselves a little space sometimes, which was hard, but we understood that, that will help us. We got to let it breathe a little. Introducing organic content. That's the only, I'll say y'all should look up the rest because I don't wait too much time. The other one was introduce organic content. Organic content is in the form of compost, which we are, actively, creating and donating all the time through our, bio waste, like, vegetable scraps and stuff, or manure from, cows who eat, grass and things like that. Those are the best, fertilizer, organic content for soil. So that's the number one principle, introduce organic content, but organic content is often looked at as stinky stuff. So we got to embrace the stinky stuff, the hard conversations, the moments that we feel the most uncomfortable, wrinkling our nose, but knowing we need to have a bowel movement, maybe, and then be okay. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, for real. You see what I'm saying? And we allow ourselves to do that, in our relationship, and that's why we are unstoppable, aren't we?
Yes.
I say.
Yes, and we married now. We're married now. So you see what I'm saying? So that works. So
That's powerful. I appreciate that, right? Because I think to a certain extent, in my limited understanding, it's like, like part of soil is like, what are the conditions that we need to cultivate our highest self? You know what I mean? Like certain environments cultivate different things, you know what I mean? And so it's like knowing what I need, what I require, right? In order to like rise to my highest self. You know what I mean? And you may think when you said the stinky stuff is that like how do we, infuse conflict transformation, like on a collective perspective, right? Like how do we infuse a culture of conflict transformation inside of this like soil that we are cultivating to enable, you know what I mean? Because I think one thing that like it seems like all communities, including ours, goes through is that like, we haven't figured out like how to hold the container to enable us to like grow. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I think like there's something that keeps like fracturing us out, or you know what I mean? And so it's like when you said the stinky stuff, I was like, you know what I mean? But like, how do we embed this culture of like conflict transformation inside of the soil itself? You know what I mean? Because conflict can be transformative. You know what I mean? Use it as such. You know what I mean? And I personally am not the best with conflict. You know what I mean? I conflict border. All these things. You know what I mean? So it's like how to learn how to cultivate this space. Mama D, you got any thoughts? She might be gone for a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, well, when you were speaking about like, what is it, soil being too compact?
Yeah.
That breathing, the breath. Yes, a part of, I think that is a huge piece of just like conflict transformation and resolution, like figuring out when we know we need to like spread out and expand. And that's okay, right? Like, just giving each other room, right? Giving the roots room to do what needs to be done. Right? And speaking on an individual level, like y'all having to take space, right? Like sometimes on a collective level, like when we have the equal, like the conditions. I think about the heart, like when we have the heart, like how it's all like maintaining it. And sometimes it means moving away a little bit to let it, and then coming back, right? And even even physically, the body, like
for real.
When you take a breath, your rib cages expand and then they come back, right? So I just think that is
for sure.
definitely like,
you know what? And so like, so you're helping me right now understand like why the mycelium network is so important,
Mhm.
right? Like the underlying root system that like actually works together, right? So that, you know, like if a tree or something that's connected in my like is harmed or in danger, you know what I mean? Like how they can send nutrients right to each other. And so I'm saying that to say that like part of that being able to grow and expand is that like, you know, looking at the ecosystem, right? And like, you know, like there might be times where we have to like grow, you know what I mean, in a way of like giving each other space and this, that, and other,
Right.
but we're still cultivating this underlying
Still
root
on the
system and
same
ecosystem.
page.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Still.
you know what I mean? So
I heard you calling my name, baby. I was typing in our chat. Y'all don't realize how biblical you are. You all in the word. And because you all in the word, you can't help everything you do and touch is going to grow. But what it is, and somebody, I think Izzy, you said about the stinky stuff. Any change, any transformation has stinky stuff. And people don't want the stinky stuff. That's why they let the few do the work. And then they come on board when they see we didn't stop. Gem City Market is a prime example. Everybody didn't get on board till they saw we didn't get off board. See, that's the thing. We always want to know, we want to bring people along, but then do they want to come along?
Yeah.
People in our community, in our circle, in our spectrum, they need, we all are responsible for something. So if you don't do something, can you see something and say something so somebody else can do something? If you know you're not, but when you see something, you have to do something. And when you do something, then change takes place. If we're going to keep talking about the like our young people are just negative. They just well, when you speak that out in the atmosphere, it comes right back to you negative. It comes back. So I'm listening. I'm like, oh, the word you're using, you're rich. You don't know how much the Lord wants to increase, but He's testing us to make sure we don't do it just for our names to be on some letterhead, or we're gonna be, get some clocks and some watches. It's a fight. It's a fight. When we're trying to make real change as change agents, it is a fight. And you're going to find out who's in the battle with you when it's time to do the stinky stuff.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. You know, like, boy, you said so much, Mama D, you know what I mean? On one level, you're making me think about like how to be the invitation, like for a long time, I used to be in the community, like trying to like organize.
You did.
Instead of like, how do I show up in a way that is the invitation? Like, how do I show up how do I show up aligned with the vision of like what I see possible for the world? You know what I mean? And to allow people, invite them in. Right. You know what I mean? And like, how do we be the invitation instead of like, because some people are going to come at different times and this, that, and other. And how we like allow room for people to come in, you know what I mean? Like, however they see in the thing, but like not stopping the thing. You know what I mean? And I think like that's why this moment is so important, right? So like there's a group of people that are emerging this notion of like a freedom spring. You know what I mean? Like how do we start to acknowledge that like, we're turning the chapter. You know what I mean? We're not going backward. We're not waiting for permission. You know what I mean? That we're gonna, build this new container. We're gonna cultivate this new space. You know what I mean? That like acknowledges human dignity, human worth. You know what I mean? To like move into like a freedom summer and this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? And so that power that we have, right, to step into that space. And
have you guys ever worked with Peter Bengendorf? Reimagine Dayton. He has a whole proposal, a whole outline. It's all about, don't look at it. Reimagine how you want it to look.
Exactly.
See, there's a lot of people doing the same thing. They calling it something different. We got to come together and merge.
Right, exactly. 100%. You know what I mean? Because I think that's like part of like this merge. I'm looking to revive. He's smiling right now. So like there's this thing emerging called Heart Connects. You know what I mean? Yeah. That I think like connects these dots, right? And so for those that don't know, Peter down at the Collaboratory, he has I think he's like a network ecosystem genius, right?
Yes, he is.
All on these walls, this notion of like, how do we reimagine Dayton? You know what I mean?
Right.
And like co-op Dayton in particular, like we're looking at like how we build this economy that can fuel whatever that collective hope, that collective reimagining that we do. How do we build an economic engine to actually like help get us there? You know what I mean? Because sometimes like we can try to reimagine something, but we would have an engine to drive us, right? And so it's like how we're connecting these things together, you know? And something else that you said, Mama D, that stuck out for me is this notion of increasing territory, right? And so it's like the more that we are, that we can decrease to allow something greater in us that's deep inside.
There you go.
To increase, you know what I mean?
Right.
The territory increases, you know what I mean?
Right.
And like that's why I think it comes back to the heart, right? And like who actually is operating the seat of the heart? You know what I mean? To allow that territory to increase, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking I'm gonna pull Audible because I really want people to hear this song. You know what I mean?
I want to hear it. Yeah.
Like we tried to like have it like professionally sounding, and it's completely my fault because like for those that know me know that I'm like super technologically struggled, and so I did not communicate well with like how we could do it. You know what I mean? So it's totally on me. But let's I don't know, you guys want to try acapella or how you want
Yeah, do it a cappella.
Okay.
Wait, before you guys start, Key asked the question that I think would be dope to let people marinate on while they hear your music. I sent it to you, Amaha.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just see it right now. Thank you very much. So what up, Keith? First of all, you know what I mean? So Keith's question is, what are all the ways people can get involved right now? Distribute information, access points, you know what I mean? So like, we'll start with, I'm gonna call it a grow initiative. Maybe that's not what the official title is, you know what I mean? But like, like how can grow season? Yeah. So how can people get engaged and involved in the work that you're doing?
I can tell you. So this is how you could be involved in Grow Season. So first of all, we would love for you all to join us on April 25th at the Tank. That is the venue that's like below the Dayton Arcade. Stay close to the Culture Works page, and you know we're going to be sharing the link like tonight, tomorrow, to make sure you secure your spot. There is where we're going to really introduce the Grow Season to the world. We're going to be premiering the song Grow in different formats. We're going to be premiering the music video of Grow, which highlights our amazing city in so many different capacities, because we're really trying to be the hands and feet that revitalize and help the renaissance growth of our city. And we're going to be having, you know, different community partners there that are going to help to like, you know, make those connections into that aspect. Outside of that, I would say, you know, meet me at the garden. So New Soul Garden, you know, has they have community days on New Soul. Woo -woo. You know, shout out to Mr. Greg, Alvin, everybody that's doing teams out there. Every Sunday from 12 to 2, they have community day there. So you can catch me there as many times as I can. And then Edgemont Community Garden, I'm sure that they're doing some cool, you know, initiatives. I was talking to Alvin about some cool agro technology that they're about to be installing there to optimize growth. So we can be learning, right? We want to be as close to the soil as possible. All year, we're going to be pushing this message and this song in different formats, activations, community, you know, garden parties. Look out for garden party. We're going to be socializing and connecting communities through gardening. And so we're really trying to be real practical.
We outside,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This all the time. So, yeah, I think that's where to start. And then just check out Renaissance, because you know what I'm saying? It's Grow Season.
For sure. Yeah, everything you said, please come out next Thursday.
Yes.
That's gonna be a really good time. Like I think a whole, you know, an embodiment of like us really love. So.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Beth from the Love Box, you know what I mean? We've been talking about like how this is like that year of activation, you know what I mean? And so like 25th is a way of like activating, you know what I mean? And coming together, because I think part of it is like, how do we identify those that are ready for something new? You know what I mean? That are ready to do the work individually and collectively, right? So like to cultivate this new space that we have the power collectively to emerge into. So there's some other ways too, right? So here at the Heart, right, there's Food for Thought, which is this Friday. I think it starts at what time? 7. At 7 at the Heart. You know what I mean? Amazing space that Kat and others are cultivating. You know what I mean? Like we have movie nights that will be given the dates too soon. You know what I mean? We're creating study tables for those that want to like learn more about community transformation and about solidarity and cooperation and just the things that we need to think through if we're going to build like a participatory planning. You know what I mean? About like what is this collective hope that like compels us so much that we're willing to like give of ourselves to like to make happen. You know what I mean?
You mentioned Mango Mondays.
I did not, you know what I mean? And so I'm not sure when that starts, but May soon. Okay, so pretty soon at the Heart, there's gonna be Mango Mondays, which is gonna have a whole bunch of different events happening.
See the Love Lost rehearsing live.
Yeah. And possibly we're gonna do some movie nights afterwards and things like that. You know what I mean? And then at Co-op Dayton, you know what I mean? We're gonna be tabling this summer. We're gonna have co-op 101s. Matter of fact, pretty soon, we have, I lost the name all of a sudden. I can't remember her name. We're having a training program, right? For those that want to learn how to work together towards building whatever type of project that is, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, check us out on the Facebook or Instagram to get more information about all of that. We're in the summer, right? And so,
yeah, is somebody playing the live in y'all's background? It's like a little echo.
I was trying to test out the.
Playing the drum, so that doesn't sound like a drum.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was trying to test out the.
But if it doesn't sound like a drum, then yeah, we need to. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of mics here to do it professionally, but you know that was
how about you give it the most organic take? Like one of the things that the community has not been able to experience, which you do phenomenally, is your a cappella voice. Like, I mean, I know you sing the song Mariah, and there's a whole story behind that. But the time when you sing a cappella, it hits different. So how about you just, feel it and just go and just sing, grow, and we'll just go by.
Let's do it.
I think the drums are gonna cut the vocals.
Yeah, I think we're going back on drum.
We're just holding it for props. They're just prop for airtime.
Yeah. There's a whole story behind the drum too.
Exactly.
All right.
All right, yeah. Yes, it's a grow. Basking in the sunlight, sunrise in the springtime. I know rhythm moonlight, gratitude in my life. What do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? What do you require? You need the seed, you need the soil, you need the sunlight, you need the water. If you want to grow, do you want to grow?
Do you want to grow? Do you want to grow?
Feel it in your soul.
Feel it in your soul. Yeah, feel it in your soul.
Do you want to grow?
Yeah, do you want to grow?
What do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? What do you require?
Small Renaissance.
You need the seed, you need the soil, you need the sunlight, you need the water. If you want to grow,
do you want to grow?
Do you want to grow?
Yeah.
Gotta let you know.
Gotta let them know.
Feel it in your soul.
So, that girl?
Yeah. Now growth I define. Yeah. Deep down in my soul. Standing in the light. Yeah. Reaching all my goals. Yeah. Now growth I define. Yeah.
Yeah, give it to me.
Deep down in my soul. Standing in the light. Yeah. Reaching all my goals. What do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? What do you require? You need the seed, you need the soil, you need the sunlight, you need the water. If you want to grow,
If you wanna grow, yeah. If you wanna grow,
do you want to grow?
Do you wanna grow? No. Do you wanna grow?
Feel it in your soul.
Feel it in your soul. Feel it in your soul.
Gotta let you
know.
What do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? What do you require?
Just gotta remind y'all one last time.
Bravo, 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 bravo.
You need the sunlight. You need the water. If you want to grow, if you want to grow, do you want to grow? Do you want to grow? Gotta let you know. Feeding your soul.
Yeah.
If you want to grow. Hey.
Hey, hey.
Yeah. Yes. Y'all heard it here first, right?
Hold on,
Yes.
before we go, shout out to, I knew we were gonna give a shout out to Key, but there was something that happened while we were singing, and I want to share what happened because I think Key shared something with me. Key Daniels, by the way, if y'all don't know, the one and only, Key got the keys to life. For real. And so when we were shooting the music video for Grow, we were at Oaks Quarry Park. And Key was just talking about her collaboration and the value she adds to the team at Co-op. And I was just asking, because I felt like it was really on the nose for y'all to be called Co-op dating, right? And so I was asking, I'm like, why Co-op? Why is that so important? Key told me something that changed my whole world, because she said, you got to cooperate before you collaborate.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Show enough.
my goodness, blew my mind. It's still to this day mind blown. And the thing is, what just happened when we were singing a cappella, we had to cooperate.
Yeah. The collab. Yep.
Y'all, I don't know if y'all noticed, but we had to we were dialing things in the whole time, and by the time we got to the end, it definitely was in the pocket. But that's I think we were cooperative, right? Yeah. And then we were able to have this cool collaboration, which this song, this movement, this season, it's all that. But I had to just shout out to
shout out to Key again. Y'all heard it. You got to cooperate before we can collaborate, right?
Amen. Amen.
That is the message, right? And we got the invitation tonight, you know what I mean? To do you want to grow? Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's it's a different time, it's a different season. And so are we stepping into the season of what is, you know what I mean? Casting off the things from behind, right? And reaching towards what we're pressing into now, you know? And so I want to thank everybody for coming today. I want to thank you for your patience and getting everything together. We want to Special shout out to Mama D for
D.
joining us. Yes, it's been
Mama D,
a great
discipline.
special shout out for Vibes, you know what I mean? For hosting
Shout out to
holiday.
Vibes.
We got Jasmine in the back who has we actually
Content
recorded
creator.
when we were like practicing to try to figure this out, you know what I mean? And she got
Watch the
we
page.
got an amazing video that I think we're gonna post on the thing, you know what I mean? We got Tajo in the back always working her Wizard of Oz backstage, you know what I mean? And so anything that you want to share in the closing?
Oh, love each other. Like,
Yeah.
Share Key's quote after they share their stuff.
oh,
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I got. I mean, I feel like love is the answer. That's the only thing I'm trying to cultivate. Love.
Okay. I would say time. One of the things that have worked so much in our favor is time. When you look at the garden, when you look at our lives, we look at the song. One of the things that we've given ourselves and it has reaped benefits is time. And we're in a time right now where there's a sense of urgency. Even our work, we are the ones that we sometimes have to show that alacrity and sense of urgency outside. Like, we got to get it done now. However, internally, we need to remember that we have time. Time is out on our side, and we have it in abundance to give. When it's talking about growth, we give ourselves time. A tree takes 10 years of growth before it looks like a tree, right? So when we think about giving something time to grow, that is like the most blessed, gift you can give to what you want to grow. So that would I say, give yourself time, and have a great, blessed, abundant relationship with time because it's on your side.
I said, give thanks, like he's reminded me that, a tree grows up, or a seed period, right? Grows up and down simultaneously, you know what I mean? And the deeper the roots, you know what I mean? The taller the tree can grow, you know what I mean? And so like as we're acting to learn and learning to act, right? Like how do we do the internal work and to allow the external to come forward? And we're gonna end on an invitation or a quote from Key that she said today.
April 25th.
April 25th. See y'all out at arcade, right? At the arcade. And we'll end on this quote that Key found. Be it deep or shallow, red or black, sand or clay, the soil is the link between the rock core of the earth and the living things on its surface. It is the foothold for plants we grow. Therein lies the main reason for our interest in the soils. By Roy W. Simpson from the USDA Yearbook of Agriculture, you know what I mean? So like in this season of a Freedom Spring, it's like, how do we cultivate the soil and the relationships, right, to enable us to go deeper into what this shared future is, you know what I mean? Because we don't have to wait. The time is now. And Mama D, why don't you have the last word?
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. I have enjoyed our dialogue tonight and the words, the nuggets, the golden nuggets, I might add, that you've added to what you're saying. And I kept sitting here and a simple scripture came to mind, Galatians 3:23. Do everything as if you're doing it for the Lord and not for man. You all don't work for man. Don't work for name recognition. Don't work for the title. They might not even notice us. Because see, I've been doing this, but do the work. And that's what I'm hearing. And you're not waiting for somebody to tell you what needs to be done. You see a need, go fix the need. You see somebody hungry, why you got to go to a board meeting or a city commission meeting and say, I saw 4 people hungry last week. Why ain't we doing something? No, why ain't you doing something?
Come on, Mama
See,
D.
all of us can do something. And that's what we got to do. I invite more of the baby boomers like myself that still are relevant. You still got gems to drop before you leave this earth. We can't take all this in us with us. I want to give it to you. And I need your energy. And that's what we do. That's what the soil does. The soil doesn't throw away something because it's been there a long time. No, if anything, the deeper that person has been here, the more you're going to get out of me. The more you're going to get out of them. So I'm asking all of us, step up to the plate. If nothing else, Key, that You got to cooperate before you collaborate.
Yeah.
That ain't nothing but
Yeah.
true talk. That's real.
That's right.
That's real. So
Yeah.
drop your
Top of the
egos.
program.
Drop your egos at the door. We're not looking for egos. We're not looking for arrogance. We're really looking for confidence. We're not even looking for people that are confident. What about Godfident? That means, say what you got to say. I'm moving on up. We're winners, as the impression used to say. We're a winner. You got to always think that. That's why the STAR program has been so successful. It's your mindset. If you think you can't grow a thing, you won't grow a thing. I don't care how many times I tell you, you can grow a thing, but you don't think you can, so you don't. Stop stinking thinking. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
People have to change how they think. I know I had to, and I did it early on. And I'm so glad I've been through what I've been through, because it was all about me giving it back, first to my children, my grandchildren, but to these bonus families and daughters and sons that God has given me. I don't take my assignment lightly. So when I say something, I mean it. Mama, I mean it.
Appreciate you, Mama D.
I say, thank you so much for that, right? And I think you also modeled why intergenerational networks are so important as like we're building this new world, right? And
yes,
the wisdom of the elders, you know what I mean?
Yes.
As the generations connect, you know what I mean? It's like that's how we harness the power, you know.
That's right.
And shifting power to the younger generations, right?
Exactly.
Because
give it to them.
like,
Yes.
So that's where the power needs to lie, you know? So thankful for everybody that joined us today. And we invite you out again, April 25th, you know what I mean? And be on the lookout. We're gonna post a couple videos and different ways to get plugged in as we're moving forward and building our shared future together. So bless and love, everybody, and have a blessed night.
Peace. Bless.